Hi everyone, welcome to the first in a series of candy Tyranids. Have you ever looked at this terrifying Psychophage and wondered what it would look like if it was pink and produced Candyfloss? In this video, I'm going to show you how I created this monstrosity. Starting off with a nice purple wash, I believe that's the Druky Violet. And I'm only putting this on the armour here and on the top half of the model, then changing to a Carrobug Crimson for the undercarriage. This is a really good way of picking out the details and not losing them while you're painting. And I like doing this because it just gives your pieces that extra depth. When it's time for the first layer of paint, I'm starting off with the Fulgrim Pink, which is always a favourite. This is going on all of the armour. I definitely had quite a clear idea in my head of where I wanted to take this one. The next thing I do is decide to paint the mouth in Mephiston Red. I just feel that it's the best colour in this situation, and I want to keep the bright colours, and I want something striking. This red is another favourite of mine because it just paints so well onto every model. I don't know, do you know what I mean? I'm making sure to block out where I want the red, being careful not to go over the lines here. Also, any mistakes will be corrected later. I realise that I want the underside to be dark because I want the pink to grab all of the attention. I decide that I probably shouldn't add more of that red because it's such a strong colour and it steals the show every time. I need to fill in some more of the anatomy, so I think I'm using Nuln oil here to pick out more of that detail. And I paint the undercarriage with a layer of the Nuln oil as well. I definitely need a dark wash for some contrast here, especially against the pink. Then it's onto the fog coming out of the chimneys, and that gets a quick coat of white first. Next I revisit the pink and just paint a translucent layer of Scar White over the top of the shell, just to give it some highlights. I'm not really sure about this fog, so I paint a bit of the pink onto it while I think about how I want it to look and how to differentiate it from the pink. I know that sounds counterintuitive, and it was, but I know I want the fog to be multi-toned, so I use the purple to break up all the pink and white. A bit more red goes onto the underside, and a thin layer of Abaddon Black helps to pull out more detail on the underside. I decide that the talons will also be purple. With everything on the body filled in to a degree that I'm content with for now, it's time to focus on the base. This was actually the most nerve-wracking part for me because I had no idea where to take it. Everything you see from now onwards is just me thinking on the fly. I'm painting on the mud, technical paint, just to create a texture, then waiting for it to dry so I can go over it with white. And I just realised I probably could have just sprayed it with white instead of painting it on, probably extending the lifespan of my paintbrushes in the process. When it's done, I go over it with pink, then add a layer of pink glitter. So what I'm using here is actually blue tack. This is essentially my poor man's green stuff, and I find it much easier to mould and shape. You can wait for it to dry out, then stick it down with super glue, or just shape it, glue it, then press it down and paint over it. So in my mind, I'm creating bubblegum and gumballs for the scenery, but I guess the balls could also be insect eggs. I'm giving the blue tack a quick coat of white, then pink, and making sure they are stuck down. I usually stick my blue tack down with super glue, then add a layer of plain craft glue or PVA glue. The glue I'm using is also pink, but it seems to dry clear, or semi-clear at least. I've almost finished now, and one of the last things I do is shape some cotton to decorate the model. This is going to be my cotton candy. Also, for some reason, the bargain store that I went to, because I'm keeping it cheap, didn't have cotton balls or anything bigger. I had to pluck the cotton from the ends of Q-tips, one by one. This was more labour intensive, but it worked out for the best because these pieces of cotton are small enough to fit onto a model, and can be pulled to create a more wispy effect. All this cotton is going on the other side of the Psychophage. And now for the finishing touches. The chimneys are now creating cotton candy. I paint the Candyfloss pink and finish off all the small details on the model, and it's done. Let me know what you think down below.